On this edition of Fulton at Work, Fulton County's youth commissioners are doing their part in keeping their peers safe from the opioid epidemic. And find out what you should pay attention to the next time you set foot inside a restaurant. I'm Daryl Carver. All that and more starts right now on Fulton at Work. With the opioid epidemic on the rise, Fulton County's youth commissioners have joined the fight to save the lives of their peers. Now, in 2017, the group has launched its NEO, Not Even Once, Drug Prevention and Opioid Awareness Initiative. During the 2017-2018 school year, the plan is to visit 20 middle and high schools throughout Fulton County to prevent young people from engaging in drug usage through the education and health impacts caused by alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Now, each workshop will emphasize the criminal offenses for possession, trafficking, and Georgia's Good Samaritan and 911 medical amnesty law. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk to the Youth Commissioner Coordinator to find out how teens are dealing with the opioid epidemic. So please stay with us. Welcome back to Fulton at Work. I'm Daryl Carver. In 2016, more than 150 people, including teens, died in Fulton County from opioid-related causes. Teens often find painkillers in their parents' medicine cabinet and then try them. It can be the first step leading to addiction. Now, Fulton County's youth commissioners are trying to prevent their peers and friends from taking that first step. Joining us now to explain how is Fulton County Youth Commissioner Coordinator Reginald Crossley. First of all, Reginald, thank you for joining us here on Fulton at Work.
Thank you for having me.
Now, for those who missed your last appearance, please explain the goal of the Not Even Once initiative.
Well, before I get into the goal, I'm going to talk about how we decided to even develop this initiative. It was in the result of a survey conducted throughout middle and high schools in Fulton County, where we found that 57% of the students we surveyed indicated that drugs were the top issue in their school. So as a result, we created Not Even Once to bring awareness to the activities that young people engage in as it relates to drug usage and consumption in the schools. So we want to ensure our young people are equipped with the skills and knowledge necessary to prevent from going down that path.
Now, has the focus of the Not Even Once initiative shifted more towards opioid abuse as opposed to other drugs?
No, not at all. Since 2012, when we originally conducted that survey, we knew early on that drugs were a major factor in our schools. In addition, we work with young people. Our Fulton County youth commissioners are directly involved in our schools. We have the pulse, and we get live information as it happens and develops in the schools. So we hear often that young people are engaging in this type of lifestyle, or we hear the stories of young people overdosing. So this is something that we were aware of early on, and which is in turn why we developed this initiative.
What are teens saying about opioids?
Well, first off, teens are saying that the drugs are easy to get their hands on. We hear that they're also very cheap to purchase. Students are saying they can buy pills from $1 to $5 per pill. We also hear that most of the consumption of these drugs take place during school hours. So, of course, they're easy to consume. And while in school, this is when most of this activity and drug usage is taking place. So that's really what's on the horizon, and what young people are talking about is engaging in this type of lifestyle and activity in the actual school.
Now, how are you and the youth commissioners getting the message across about the dangers of opioid use?
Well, this is a for youth, by youth type of approach. So we believe that peer-to-peer communication and peer-to-peer influence is the most effective way to get a message across. So we engage youth commissioners, we engage athletes and other young people who are influencers within their schools to be the people who continue to carry on our message. In addition, we go into the schools and we do a very comprehensive and very engaging type of workshop We also invite people who are former drug abusers who share their personal testimonies. Also myself, as a drug prevention specialist, I present a professional drug kit that gives you visuals of the real drugs and encased, presentation. So in addition, we have a drug prevention guide entitled NEO. And this guide corresponds with a PowerPoint and has video simulations and animation on how the drugs work when they go through your body. We also have an app that we're releasing very soon that's going to encourage kind of healthy lifestyles and give young people the nicknames and the street names and tips on how to address peer pressure. So this is a multifaceted approach on how we're addressing the drug prevention crisis.
Now, we've talked before about the goggles that simulate alcohol intoxication. Are you trying to do something similar with the effects of opioid use?
Well, the goggles we use are really to show them how it feels when you're drunk or high or highly intoxicated on any type of drug, not only alcohol, but heroin and of course, prescription meds. So young people get a chance to see through the lens of these goggles how it distorts your vision. You see 2 and 3 of each item around you. You lose your balance. We've had students, the moment they try them on, take them off. Like, wow, I'm never going to try drugs. I hate the way this feels. I never want to feel like this again. So it shows that the goggles also work, and it prevents young people from even wanting to try it even once.
Now, what should a teen do if they discover a friend overdosing?
Well, first, you have to call 911 immediately for medical assistance. Secondly, try to get in contact with that individual's parent or try to find an adult nearby. And this is something that we go into deep detail on when doing our presentations. We also share that in 2015, Georgia passed HB 965, also known as the 911 Medical Amnesty Law or the Good Samaritan Law, where people are protected from any criminal charges if they were to call the police or call someone for medical assistance in the event that someone was going through an overdose. So our young people were not aware of this, and it's good to know that young people will be immune to any criminal charges if they do the right thing and call and stand by to ensure that the people get help during an overdose.
And what has been the feedback you've gotten from parents about the Not Even Once initiative and opioid prevention?
Well, we haven't had as much face time with our parents since much of what we do is within the schools. However, we've had an overwhelming response from our teachers and our school administrators who are very happy to welcome us into their schools. The demand is so great. We have been called, even from school systems outside of Fulton County, for our services of coming in and doing workshops within their schools. But the demand is at an all-time high with opioids being a very popular topic. But we are doing very well in engaging the young people, and oftentimes our students don't even want to leave our workshops. So the response has been great.
And tell us a little bit about your goal of trying to reach 5,000 youth regarding the issues surrounding alcohol, tobacco, and other drug usage and the laws in the state of Georgia.
Absolutely. And our goal is to visit 20 schools, 3 in each commission district, and to serve a minimum of 300 students per school. So when we go into these schools, we try to stay the entire day, usually when school starts to when school ends. We host workshops, usually 30 to 50-minute segments, and we try to get as many workshops as we can get in per school visit. So, we've been very successful in reaching several schools already, and some of the schools we go to, we actually present before the entire school, and either in assembly format or we speak to each specific grade level. But yes, we're able to reach quite a few young people with this initiative.
Now, as we're wrapping up, just give us some final thoughts on what you hope ultimately to achieve here.
Well, ultimately, we hope to encourage young people not to engage in this lifestyle, to share the consequences for possession and trafficking of these sorts of drugs, but ultimately to share that their life is in their hands and they don't have to fall victim to the influence in the media. And we know that this has become something socially accepted. And not to even include the media, young people, just think it's okay to do because these drugs are being prescribed by doctors, or they see their friends doing it, or it's being glorified in the music and on television. It is not the lifestyle you want to go down. And we also want to engage our parents. We want our parents to be part of the prevention as well. First off, we want parents to ensure that they're keeping their meds secure and away from, our young people. Also alcohol as well. Alcohol is definitely a drug. And we want them to keep those items secure in their homes and start to have the conversation early on with your child. No age is too young. And I think parents would want to be the first person to have this discussion versus their friends or their peers bringing this discussion to their child. So please, parents, play an active role, have the discussion, and keep those meds secured.
Once again, Reginald Crosley, great information there. Thank you again for joining us here on Fulton at Work today.
Daryl, thank you for having me.
Now, when we come back, we'll find out what you need to know and what to look for before ordering at your favorite restaurant. Fulton at Work will return after this short break. Welcome back to Fulton at Work. I'm Daryl Carver. When you go out to eat, do you pay attention to the restaurant's inspection score? It's an important number, but what exactly does it mean? Joining us now to answer that question and more is Ellis Eli Jones from the Environmental Health Department. First of all, Mr. Jones, thank you for joining us here on Fulton at Work.
Hi, Daryl. Thanks for having me.
For those who aren't familiar with it, please tell us a little bit more about Fulton County's environmental health team and your role in particular.
Environmental health, the team here at Fulton County, we regulate and permit all the food service establishments, the tourist accommodations, which is like a motel or a hotel, also any public pools, all the on-site sewage management systems, more commonly known as a septic system if you're not on sewer. We also do nuisance complaints where anything when solid waste at a vacant lot, we will assess that, try to get it cleaned up, and also mosquito abatement. I'm the Deputy Director of Environmental Health, and I'm over the 3 offices that are located in College Park, downtown Atlanta, and Alpharetta.
Now, for purposes of this show, we want to focus on those restaurant scores. How are the restaurants graded?
Restaurants are graded on a number scale and a letter scale. The highest is obviously an A100. That's what everybody should shoot to be their goal to get. Now it goes down to a B, a C, and then a U. And just like almost in school, a 90 and up is an A, 80 and up is a B, 70 up is a C, then anything below 70 is a U.
Now, obviously, the goal is always to get to 100, but what is the lowest score a restaurant can get, and what is the course of action that they would then need to take?
The lowest score would be a U, that's a 69 and below. If they do score 69 and below, then they have 10 business days to correct the violations, and then we'll come back within 10 business days and give them a follow-up mandatory reinspection.
And what kind of fines are involved for restaurants who have consistently low scores?
When a restaurant constantly had low scores, if they score 3 routine use back to back to back, then they will receive a citation and asked to voluntarily close. They could also go to Environmental Health Magistrate Court, where they'll be in front of a judge, and the judge could render a decision where they would have to have more fines, and it'd be up to the judge. Also, on top of just fines, they might also be ordered to have more frequent health inspections to keep them from getting routine use in the future.
Now, in November, you had to turn to a judge for help following a restaurant's failure to adhere to inspection guidelines. Tell everyone what happened in that particular case.
In this instance, a restaurant had 3 routine use, that's unannounced inspections. We asked them to voluntarily close. They complied, and later it came to our attention that they had illegally opened back up. We went out, shut them down, posted signs, give them another citation, letting them know they cannot open back up until they have a passing score. They then went to environmental health, the magistrate court, and when they were there, the judge issued a fine for them, and then also issued them more frequent inspections. In this case, they will receive 6 routine inspections in a 6-month period.
And how often do you have to use legal steps like this?
I would say we have people that go to environmental health court maybe once every 3 months. Environmental health magistrate court, it does meet every month, but luckily, knock on wood, we're not there every month. Our goal would be to never go there at all, because everybody would be in compliance, and that's the end goal for us.
And are the inspections ever announced, or are they always unannounced?
The routine inspections are never announced. We show up at any time of day when the restaurant is open or prepping to be open. It can be any day of the week, Monday through Sunday. So the routine inspections are never announced. Now, if a score of U is attained, then we'll give them a mandatory follow-up where they know we are going to be back within 10 days. And obviously they'll know everything that was wrong from the routine inspection, and they have 10 days to fix it, and they know we're coming back on the routine follow-up inspections.
Now, I understand your team offers a service that helps restaurants determine what they're doing wrong.
Correct. If a restaurant scores a score of a U, then we immediately send out an environmental health educator to train all their food safety handling staff. We give them a food safety course to teach them about food safety, to ensure that they're aware of the rules and regulations. We also bring them in, we'll have an intervention hearing with the management and come up with a plan of action. That way in the future they don't create the same mistakes over and over again. So we go above and beyond to try to train these people that make the U's so they don't make U's again in the future.
And when we see those scores outside, what score in particular should concern a restaurant patron?
For me personally, I treat it just like school. If you cannot get a 90, an A and above, then it's kind of set off some red flags and alarms. So yeah, for me, 90 and above is where I would eat, and I'm the Deputy Director of Environmental Health. So.
And is there a website that people can go to see the scores of those restaurants?
Yes, actually, the Georgia Department of Health has all the restaurant scores for all the districts in the state of Georgia. That is dph.georgia.gov/environmental-health.com.
And just to wrap it up, Mr. Jones, just what is the bottom line in this?
The bottom line is just for the restaurants, follow the rules and regulations, make sure you're educated, make sure you have food safety qualifications, your staff is ServSafe certified so they are not out doing anything illegal. Clean constantly, clean up behind yourself, and shoot for the goal, which is always a 100A. For anybody that's out there eating, if you see anything wrong, please contact Fulton County Environmental Health. You help us. We only have so many staff members and so many boots to the ground. So when the individuals contact us and let us know something's going wrong, we obviously make that a top priority and get out and make sure that it's corrected immediately.
Now, Eli Jones, thank you again for joining us here on Fulton at Work.
Thank you for having me.
We're back to wrap up the show after this short break. That's all our time. Thanks for joining us here on Fulton at Work, and a very special thanks to each of our guests. Now, we want to connect with you online. Please check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also watch this show and any other FGTV program at any time on the FGTV YouTube page. I'm Daryl Carver, and we'll see you next time.